Far beyond the mountains, across silent rivers and endless fields, there lived something no one could see, but everyone could feel. A little wind, not a storm, not a powerful gust, just a soft, gentle wind that traveled quietly through the world at night. It had no name, no home, no beginning anyone remembered, but wherever it passed, people slept a little more peacefully. The little wind loved the nighttime. During the day, the world was loud and hurried. People rushed from place to place, carrying invisible weights inside them. But at night, the world slowed down, and that was when the little wind began its journey. It drifted through forests where tall trees whispered softly in the dark. It danced across quiet lakes that reflected the moon like silver glass. It floated gently through sleeping towns where windows glowed faintly under the stars. The wind never stayed in one place for long. It was always searching for hearts that had become too heavy. One quiet evening, the little wind arrived in a city unlike the peaceful villages it usually visited. This city was crowded. Bright lights filled the streets even late into the night. People moved quickly, their faces tired and distant. The little wind drifted silently between tall buildings. It could feel something here. A heaviness, not from the city itself, but from the people inside it. The wind floated past windows, hearing quiet sighs and restless turning in beds. So many minds unable to rest. So many hearts carrying worries no one else could see. Then, somewhere high above the streets, the little wind found someone. In a small apartment near the edge of the city sat a young man named Sammy. He was sitting beside his window, staring at the night sky. The room was dark except for the pale moonlight falling across the floor. Sammy looked exhausted, not from work, not from walking, but from carrying too many thoughts for too long. The little wind slipped quietly through the open window. Sammy didn't notice it at first. He simply sat there, lost in his thoughts. Then the curtains moved gently. A soft breeze touched his face. Sammy closed his eyes for a moment. The air felt different, cool, comforting, almost alive. "You seem tired," a quiet voice whispered. Sammy opened his eyes quickly and looked around. No one was there, only the soft movement of air. "Who said that?" he asked softly. "I did," the breeze replied. Sammy blinked slowly. "The wind." Yes. For some strange reason, Sammy didn't feel afraid. The voice was calm, peaceful, like something he had been waiting to hear for a very long time. The little wind moved gently around the room. "You carry too much," it whispered. Sammy looked down at his hands. "I know." The words escaped before he could stop them. The wind became softer. "Then why do you keep holding it all?" Sammy was quiet for a long moment. Finally, he spoke. "Because if I let go, I don't know who I'll be without it." The room fell silent. Outside, the city lights shimmered quietly below. Then the little wind spoke again. "You are not your worries." Sammy's eyes slowly lifted toward the window. The breeze drifted closer. "You were never meant to carry everything alone." Sammy felt something tighten in his chest. Not pain, emotion. The kind that comes when someone finally understands what you could never explain. The wind moved gently around him, carrying the scent of rain and distant forests. "Close your eyes," it whispered. Sammy hesitated, then slowly obeyed. The moment he did, the little wind began to circle softly around him. And suddenly, he felt memories rising inside him. Late nights, silent fears, the pressure to always stay strong, the loneliness he never spoke about. One by one, the feelings surfaced quietly. But instead of becoming heavier, they began to drift away, like leaves carried by a breeze. Sammy took a deep breath. And as he exhaled, a tiny glowing light floated from his chest. The wind carried it gently into the air. "What was that?" Sammy whispered. "A sorrow you were ready to release," the wind answered softly. More lights appeared, small, warm, golden, each one carrying a thought, a fear, a sadness he had hidden inside himself. The little wind carried every single one carefully, as though they were fragile treasures. Sammy's breathing slowed, his shoulders relaxed. For the first time in years, his mind became quiet. Not empty, just peaceful. The city outside no longer felt so heavy. The room no longer felt so small. Everything softened. The little wind drifted toward the open window. "There are many people like you," it whispered. "People who are tired in ways the world cannot see. Sammy opened his eyes slowly. Will you help them too? He asked. The breeze moved gently like a smile. That is why I travel. The curtains danced softly in the moonlight. Sammy stood and walked toward the window. The night sky stretched endlessly above the city. For the first time in a long while, he noticed how beautiful it looked. The stars, the silence, the cool night air, everything he had forgotten to see. The little wind began drifting back outside. Wait, Sammy called quietly. Will I see you again? The breeze paused. You may not see me, it whispered. But whenever the night feels calm, whenever the air feels softer than before, I will be there. And with that, the little wind disappeared into the sleeping city. It traveled across rooftops and empty streets, into quiet homes, through open windows, across forests and oceans, still searching for those who carried invisible sadness inside them, still carrying away the sorrows people could no longer hold. Back inside the apartment, Sammy lay down in his bed. The room was peaceful now. His thoughts no longer raced. The heaviness inside him had become lighter, softer, easier to breathe with. As the cool night air moved gently through the room, Sammy's eyes slowly closed. And at last, he fell into a deep, peaceful sleep. Far away, beneath the endless stars, the little wind continued its journey. Quietly, gently, forever traveling through the night, helping tired hearts finally find rest.